Good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me for Pilates All Level. My name is Audra, and today we're going to use the prep that's a ball, but if you're at home and you don't have one, that is okay. You can absolutely take a pillow, fold it a couple times, or opt out. We're going to begin standing today. And we're going to pay attention to our feet a little bit. So just take a second and feel your feet underneath you. Right? Notice where your weight is, if it's all on your heels or all on your toes, or if it's evenly distributed. And I want you to see if you can lift your toes. And now try to spread your toes as you put your feet back down. Sometimes it's hard, sometimes it's easy, it's okay. Relax, lift your toes. Try to spread them as you bring them back down. And then glance, notice if one side spreads easier than the other. Couple more like this. Lift, spread and down. And then glance down, see if you were able to maybe get your less spread side to spread a little bit more. Yeah, less spreadable, like the chunky peanut butter as opposed to the smooth, creamy peanut butter. Yeah. Still delicious, still delightful, just a little chunky. It's okay. Two more. Yeah. Last one. Good. Now, just think about your big toe. Without crunching your little toes, try to lift your big toe. And then relax. And try again. Now, if you're like, that's all my toes have to lift, Audra, what are you talking about? Just lift your big toe. Yeah, yes. That's okay. It just gives us information, right? So if you're like, I can't, what? Use your hands to help guide. So give me a little Alexis arms, and we're just going to lift our pointer finger as we try to lift our big toe. And again. And if you still have trouble doing it, that's okay. Just imagine it lifting. Yeah. Two more. Good. Last one. And then relax. Now we're just going to try to lift our little toes, keeping the big toe down. And try not to just let the arches collapse to get you there. Yeah. Right. Yeah. So just once again, hey, guess what? We've got our little fingers to help us, right? Lift the little finger. Yeah. And so it doesn't have to only be like the littlest babyest toe, just all the smaller ones that aren't the big toe. Yeah. 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 You're doing great. Yeah. That's okay. It just gives us information, right? Maybe. Two more. Last one. Yeah. No, pat your head and rub your belly, right? Now we're just gonna lift one toe, try to switch, and try to switch. And maybe you're able to, maybe you're not. If you're not able to, just picture it in your mind's eye if you can. Yeah, just going two more. Good. Last one. And then relax. Good. And just kind of find your center. Nod your chin, hollow out through the front of your body and roll down. Good. And just find your end range. It doesn't have to be where my end range is. And if you can, we're going to slide our hands underneath our toes. Now, if you need to bend your knees for that, that's okay. We're all going to bend our knees and then just straighten to your ability. And then bend and straighten to your ability. Couple more. Two. Last one. And come all the way down onto hands and knees. Yeah, so just try to find your neutral. Good. And just sink your whole spine to the ground, letting your shoulder blades come together. And then press away from the ground. So we're not rounding our back here. We're still maintaining neutral. We're thinking about just everything coming towards the ground so the shoulder blades can slide into retraction. And then as we press away, slide into protraction. And then slide into retraction, slide into protraction. Good. Couple more. Beautiful. 2. Last 1 and hold. Now push down into your left hand. Inhale. Exhale, right hand kitty cat paw. Good. Press the right hand down. Inhale. Exhale, left hand kitty cat paw. As you do this, if you just put the hand on the ground and forget it, the shoulder is probably going to move, your spine's going to move. So we're actually making that contact with the floor and using the floor like a prop. Now notice, as you lift one hand, if one of your knees lightens, or if your ribs shift, without judgment, it's just information, right? Last one. Good. Beautiful. Now, we're going to slide one foot out. Keep it on the ground. Push it into an imaginary surface here. And see if your hips were able to stay relatively still. And then let it fold in. See if your hips are able to stay relatively still. Other side. Now, if they're having trouble and they're not able to stay relatively still, that's fine, it happens. But think about your opposite knee and hand. So when you take that right leg out, for instance, you're going to push more into your left hand. And then, wait, yeah, right hand. I don't know my right and my left. If I'm sliding my left leg out, I'm pushing more into my left hand, right leg. There, that's it. If I'm sliding my right leg out, I'm pressing more into my right hand, left leg. Yeah, good. Now, if this feels good and you would like to advance it, I still want that nice stability using your breath here. Hover that leg out, reach your opposite arm and hold, hold, hold. And then slowly bring it in. Good, other side. Press and hold, 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 and fold it in. Do you guys know why this is called bird dog? Because apparently bird dogs like make kind of the same shape when they find something, right? Yeah, they point. But know what they don't do? Right, lift the leg really high and sink. So that's one reason we are keeping it kind of low and focusing on that stability. Good. One more each side. Yeah. Sorry, Stephanie, that looks so good. Thank you so much. Last one. And come back down. Now we're going to round our back. Press yourself into your rest position. Good. Now hands up and over to one side. Press your hips away. And then other side. And then come back to center. Now we're going to lie all the way down. Take your prop, pop it between your knees. Now first, take your hands, place it on your thighs, gentle little press into your thighs. Just like 10%, 20%, not 100. And you can kind of shift your hips a little bit. We're just getting a tiny bit of traction. And then you can bring your arms to the side, either palms up or down, and just let your knees start to go to one side a little bit. We don't necessarily need them to go to the ground. What I want is that opposite hip to start lifting and lengthening away from your face. So if you arch or your ribs pop, sink the ribs down a little and rein it in slightly. Inhale here. Exhale, sink the ribs down, trying to find that oblique connection to find that movement. And then the other side. So that opposite hip lifts and lengthens without that arch happening. And we just hold for a second, feel a little stretch, inhale, exhale, sink it back, think about drawing it back from the ribs. One more each side, letting everything kind of relax. Last one. Now we're going to do something potentially a little weird, you guys, but it should be really helpful. So we're going to place our hands on our upper ribs. Lower ribs, upper abs. And as we inhale, we're going to inhale into our hands. As we exhale, exhale away from our hands. Try to get both ribs to move in tandem. Now this time, we're going to inhale into one side and exhale from that side. Now inhale into the other side and exhale from that side. Now inhale into both sides. Exhale from one side. Inhale into both. Exhale from the other. You feel how your ribs can move independently as well as in tandem? Yeah? Yeah. Now inhale into both. Exhale from both. Now move your hands lower. So I like mine on my hip bones and my fingertips just kind of on the abdominal muscles a little bit in. Now inhale wide into your hips as well as your ribs. Exhale, try to drag both hips together. Now inhale wide. Exhale, one side comes in. Inhale. Exhale, other side comes in. Good. Inhale. Both of them come in. And now inhale, hips and ribs. And then drag them all in. You feel how now your abs are nice and engaged? Great. Interlace your hands behind your head. Spiral your elbows forward. Shoulder blades kind of melt out of your ears. And try to make sure your toes are pointing forward. We're going to lift our arches, squeeze the prop, exhale, hips and ribs all together, and then curl forward. Good. Bring your hands forward. Push them into an imaginary surface to get a little bit more height. Hands come up, interlace, and slowly lengthen down. Let's do that a few more times. Now, if you have a really mobile torso, so you're able to get up really high already, when you push into your hands, if you see yourself coming into hip flexion, try to keep your tailbone a little bit heavier, moving through the torso as opposed to the hips, because we're not trying to get the hip flexors to do as much as we are our abs. Let's see if we can get our music back. Apparently, good, everybody. Back down. Are you still trying to lift your arches here as well? You're like, maybe? Yeah. Keeping that big toe mountain down. 2. Last one. Good. And come all the way back down. Now, without lifting off the ground, we're just going to lift one shoulder up. So we're keeping one shoulder down and back to center, and now other shoulder down. It's a little bit different than we usually do, right? Because we're still trying to keep that spine mostly on the ground. Couple more. Last one. Now, elbows slide forward if they've come out, hover barely off the ground, and then float one shoulder up. Find center, other shoulder lifts. So it's tempting to side bend, but we're trying to keep a nice straight line. So your spine is a ruler, and you're just rotating slightly around it. Good. Hey, Kyle. So try to lift just a tiny bit, center, hold. Now don't side bend. Keep your left side really long. Just bring your right armpit a little bit to the left. Yeah, right there. Good. And then other side. Does that feel a little different? Yeah, we're trying to find internal oblique. Good. Now, we're going to come all the way down. Bring one hand to the ground. We're not switching sides this time. We're going to stay on one side. Curl forward. That hand comes forward. Now the hand stays there as we rotate and look at it. And then come all the way back down. The hand slides towards your feet as you lift, and then it maintains its position. Couple more. Good. 3. Beautiful, everybody. 2. Last one. And then come all the way down. We get to do the other side. So that hand slides towards our feet as we lift. And then we rotate. Come back, gorgeous. Yes, yes. Couple more. And back down. Almost there. Lift, rotate, come back through center as we lower. Couple more. Last one. Good. Now both hands behind your head. Curl forward. Hold. Now we're going to side bend on one side. Come back through center. Side bend on the other side. Back to center. If you can't quite tell if you're side bending, you can always use a hand to kind of reach towards that foot. It also kind of gives you information about where you are, right? Maybe one side bends a lot farther and easier than your other side. We have one more each side. And come all the way back down. Nice job. We're going to take that prop and move it to the side for a moment. Both feet forward and hands on your hip bones. Now first, just without any force, letting gravity help you, we're going to rock from neutral into imprint and then back to neutral, right? So hip bones, pubic bone on one plane, lower back relaxes. Try to keep your glutes kind of relaxed. Last one like this. Now, on this next one, start to engage. Exhale, use your breath. Use abdominal control to sink your belly button down. Try not to clench to get your height. We're thinking more about the lower back lengthening rather than the hips elevating. Roll back to neutral. 2 more like this. Back to center. Last one like this. Good. Now on your next one, hold your imprint. Try to deepen your imprint. Press your big toes into the ground. Peel yourself up into your first bridge. Now, Arms can come by your sides and just check out where your weight is, right? Instead of it being on your neck, we want it on the shoulders. If you feel you're lifting from your armpits, hollow out from the front of your body. If your back, your low back is doing the work, sink the belly button down, press down more into your feet. And then on the way down, melt and roll all the way. Couple more. Press into your feet. So our calves, our hamstrings, and our glutes are helping us. Melting and rolling, trying to relax the glutes and hamstrings on the way down so our abs have to do more work. Last two like this. And melt and roll. Last one just like this. Finding that gentle engagement. Letting the lower body help. And then on the way down, let the lower body relax a little bit. Now, if it's appropriate for your body, we're going to cross one leg over as if we're coming into a figure 4 stretch. Now, push that foot into the ground, hip hinge up. And then come down in a hip hinge. So instead of a peel and roll, which isn't bad, we can absolutely do that. We're just trying to separate out spine and hip now. Press down. 2 more. Last one, hold. Good. And just feel the work of that stabilizing leg. Come down. Now go ahead, take your hands, we're going to interlace them behind our thighs so we can come into a little figure 4 stretch if that feels okay. If that does not feel great for you for any reason, you can keep your foot on the ground and then you can just gently take your foot across. We're just gently letting that leg come across. You might feel a slight stretch in a different place. 2 more. Last one. Bring that foot down. Now think of the toes on that crossed leg as an arrow. You're going to let your arrows go to the side. That knee will come along for the ride. Yeah. And then exhale, drag it back. Good. Couple more. See if you can feel that stretch through that oblique and QL. Maybe your TFL. Last one. And then come back. Now, hands come behind your head, come into your chest lift, and you can float your legs up. Everything comes back down. Exhale. And back down. If for any reason that doesn't feel great, keep your foot on the ground. Or you can just lift the heel so the toes stay down. Good. We have 4, 3, 2 more. Last one. Hold it up. Yeah. And all we're going to do is rotate to glance at that foot. Now rotate to glance at the knee. Once again, if you need to, that foot can stay down. No problem. Notice how with that leg crossed over, there's a little less stability through the hips and pelvis, right? So it's just a little bit trickier to keep both hips nice and evenly weighted, yeah? How you guys feeling? That good, huh? Last 2. Yeah. Last one. Foot down, switch legs. Good. Now, all we're going to do, hip hinge, press down, lift the hips. Notice if this side feels different. Bring it down. Let's do that again. A few more. How does this side feel in comparison to your other one? More exciting, less exciting? Just different? Yeah. Yeah. Two more. Good. Now go ahead, float that leg up, and you can interlace your hands and just feel that figure four stretch. Now, if you're like, oh, my back wants to help, my tailbone is up, see if you can spread your sits bones wide. Try to relax the clench a little bit. Yeah, you can go from side to side a little if it feels all right. Couple more. Stay into a range that works for you and your body today. And then when you're ready, you can bring that foot down. Think of those toes like an arrow. You're going to point the arrow to the side and then come back. Now, if you really need to, you can always lift that other leg so you're in a deeper figure four stretch. Couple more. Good. Now, when you're ready, we come back. Hands behind our head. We're going to curl forward, lift the foot if it feels appropriate. Curl and float. Now, if it doesn't feel appropriate, that's okay. Keep your foot down. Right? Maybe on one side, it felt really good and easy, and the other side's a little trickier. Notice if that hip is feeling a little tight on one side, it could actually require more hip flexor on the opposite side to get that range, right? We have just three more. Two. Good. Last one, and hold. And just rotate so you look at your toes on that one side. And then rotate to the other side. Once again, maybe your foot's down. Yeah. Couple more. Two. Last set. Good. Come all the way down. Take your legs. You can pull them to your chest if that feels good. And then we bring the feet back down. All right. So now extend one leg. Think about your torso being a canister. We're going to try to keep everything nice and still and stable. Bring one arm overhead, the same arm as leg that's pointing, or the knee that's pointing to the sky, that arm is going to point to the sky. So on your exhale, push into that foot, rotate in one piece, and then rotate. So rotate your torso in one piece using that glute. So everybody, check your knee. I'd like it to stay towards the sky. So we're using glute as opposed to just pushing, right? So the knee is pointed towards the sky. Good. Two more like this. Good. Last one. Good. Now we're changing it. The only thing we're doing now is instead of rotating in one piece, we're peeling. So instead of pushing into that foot, on your exhale, you let that arm come across. See if you can roll without the foot having to do as much work. You still might have to push some, but that's okay. So we're trying to segment now. So you look, you let that hand come And maybe this is easier for you. Maybe it's harder. 2 more. Last one. Let me get to that other side. So just switch legs. Now, hey, Kyle, if it doesn't feel good to push into that foot with that ankle, don't. Okay? So one arm overhead. We are just trying to use that glute there. So you can exhale, keep everything together, canister. You're rotating in one piece because that glute is helping push you. And your obliques are working in one piece, right? We're using our transverse abdominis, that corset muscle, and we're using our diaphragm. Good. Anybody else just creeping up their mat or just me? Last one. Yeah. Good. Slide back down your mat if you need to. And this next one, we're gonna peel. So just let the arm reach, let your spine peel up. Maybe you push a little bit into that foot, maybe you don't. And again. Couple more. Think of your torso like a spring when you need to. 2. Last one. And come all the way back. Good. Both feet on the ground, head on the ground, nod your chin, sweep your fingertips so they look at your feet. Now, just start to pump your arms. See if you feel your shoulders or your ribs or your hips really moving. We're trying to find that nice core stability, right? Now, if this feels good, but really easy, no problem. Lift your feet, squeezing your inner thighs together as if you're trying to pop a balloon. Now, maybe you feel really stable here, and you're like, but I want some more superficial muscle recruitment. No problem. Curl forward. Maybe that's still too easy, in which case, press your feet away. Inhale, exhale. Looking towards your knees. Good. So 2. Now all we're gonna do, let the feet come down, arms come overhead for a roll up, just 1. Good. And then we're coming back to hundreds. Yeah, we are. So whichever variation of hundreds, inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Feet come down, arms come overhead for your roll up. Good. Yeah, use your breath. You guys are like, I just used all my breath on my hundreds. Yes, do it again for your roll up. Your position for hundreds, inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Don't come up as high, Stephanie. Exhale. Thank you. Now feet down, arms overhead for your roll up. We're going to do this all again. Yeah, we are. But now keep in mind, maybe your hundreds are here. And that's okay. Right? It doesn't mean that you're stuck here forever, right? So when we do our roll up in a second, all you'll do is you'll put your feet on the ground. Maybe you need your knees bent. And then you curl forward. Maybe you even have to walk up your legs a little. That's okay. Let the moves work for your body. All right, last set. Inhale. Exhale. Now, if you're feeling really feisty, maintain this position as you roll up and it'll be more of a teaser. And we come all the way down. Nice job. Go ahead, clasp yourself by one wrist, reach up and over so you have a little side bend, and then other side. Notice how we only did one teaser variation? Yeah. Go ahead, bring your legs into your tabletop. Good. We're curling forward in our chest lift. We're doing a crisscross. So push one foot away, look towards that other side. And then slow, slow, slow. Boom. Now, you can always put your head down, right? If for any reason your neck is like, oh, I don't love this right now, bring your head down and instead take your opposite hand to the leg. Pushing in from your armpit, you're still going to get a lot of muscle recruitment. Sometimes I actually feel more muscle recruitment from this innervation than I do from the move, right? If you need to, you can always bring a foot down, right? Any variation is great. Couple more. And 2. Yeah. Last one, each side. Now we're gonna hold this last one. Now, see if you can keep that canister. We're gonna roll to the side. Hey, guess what we're not feeling? Glute. And hold. We're gonna let that foot drop down, push it away. Let it drop down, push it away. Last one, hold. Keep that glute active, roll back to your crisscross. And then switch sides. Hold, roll onto that side. And then we let the foot drop and press away. So it's less about up, right? We're trying to keep our crisscross shape. We're trying to keep that canister, trying to just activate that glute and then roll back. And then again, hold and roll, keeping that canister, just letting the thigh bone move freely in the socket. Now, every time we do this, we're gonna hold this last one, roll back. See if you can keep that glute, that side glute gently active. Yeah, and then we switch. It's funny how just the pull of gravity can change the muscle activation, right? Hold, roll it back. We're just gonna do one more each side. I know you guys are excited. 4, 3, and then we hold back and switch. Roll over. We're almost there. Keep those ribs nice and lifted. Use your breath. We're gonna hold, roll back. Now, we're just gonna do crisscross, but we're gonna add a little innervation. So we're gonna push with that hand and leg hold. Gorgeous. Everybody feel that extra muscle recruitment? Yeah. And again. Now, if you need to, of course, you can bring a foot down. No problem. You can even march it. Good. You can always, no matter where your legs are, have that head down, especially if your neck is getting tired. Right, a couple more. Have you got one more each side? Yes, yes, you do. And if you don't, that's okay too. And hug your knees in towards your chest. Nice job, you guys. All right, now, if your head's on the ground, scoot back so it's on the mat. If it's on the mat, stay where you are. Hands are gonna either stay on your shins or be behind your thighs. Curl forward, press your legs into your hands. You're just gonna start a little pill bug rock until you can go to full rolling like a ball. So rolling like a ball, we inhale back, make sure not to bunk your noggin. Exhale, hold, yeah. Now, if you get up and you go ding, 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 that's okay. It's just your body figuring out where you are in space, right? Now, just for fun, you guys ready? Yeah, we're gonna see if we can make a circle. Except you don't really have to go the whole way, just kind of an idea. And then we're gonna go the other direction. Good. And then go to one side. See if your body's like, oh yeah, I can go to this side all day long. And then go to the other side. Yeah, that's okay. And then back through center. And then center again. Yeah, good, Elizabeth. Just let your head nod, relax your shoulders. Yeah, perfect. Good. Yeah, nice job. Go ahead, bring your feet together, knees apart. I know it's really interesting how one side can feel very different than the other. Good. Now, if you're like me and you have kind of tight hips, you can just let your elbows gently put a teeny bit of pressure. Then you're going to push your knees up into your elbows. And then inhale. Exhale, relax. Good. Now you can sit cross-legged. You can sit on a foam roller. You can roll up your mat. We're just going to sit here for a second. And we're just going to rotate to one side. See where we go. And just find exactly where you are. And then come back. Other side. Know where you are rotating from. Let's go to the first one again. If you're rotating from your lower back, see if you can maintain a little less through the low back and a little bit more through your thoracic. And then other side. Good. If you are rounding through your pelvis, see if you can rock onto your sits bones a little bit more. But if your back is arching to try to get you into your like rotation, see if you can keep your ribs just directly over your pelvis a little bit more. Good. Last one. I'm just going to hold for a second. You should feel good and pretty easy. We're getting a little bit of assistance from our arms. Now you can stick with those, or you can bring your arms out to the side, shoulder blades draw down, palms up to start. Now, think about your right scapula. It's going to pull your right arm back. Yeah. And then left. Think about your left scapula. Good. Couple more. Trying to get that rotation through our thoracic, right? Everybody feel your mid back kicking on a little bit? Good. Two more. Good. If you need to, you can always extend your legs out. If that's an easier position for you, no problem. Even if it means your knees are bent, that's fine. Last one, each side. Good. Coming back onto all fours. You guys are like, why? Because we're doing a plank is why. Come on, coming back onto all fours. Now, if you need to be on your forearms, it's fine. Before we come into our full plank, we're going to push the floor away. And then think about pulling your hands toward your knees. So maybe your ears lengthen forward, but it's definitely a connection of your obliques. Now, slide one foot out, push the foot into the ground, other foot can come to meet it. Now, maybe you just hang out and hold. Maybe you exhale and you bring a knee down and you kind of rest for a second in between. Maybe it does not. And you just let it fold freely at the hip joint. And we have two more. Yeah, beautiful. Kind of lift your belly button a little bit. Yeah, good, Elizabeth. Two. Last one. Knees down. Press yourself into a rest position. Nice job. All right, we're coming all the way out onto our side. And you can use your prop as a little pillow. Now, lift your bottom ribs so you're in one long line, making sure that your tailbone is unwinding. Now, think about when we just did that kind of crisscross pattern and then added that glute, right? Keep that same kind of stabilization that you just had. Squeeze your heels together, let one knee come to the sky. Hold. Now, we're going to change it up. Keep your bottom knee down. Bottom knee does not come up. We are rolling our hips off of the thigh, yeah, and then come back to center, and then back down. Good. So as we do this, maybe you don't have a lot of rotation, that knee comes up, that's okay. Know where you're going, and then just stop short of that knee coming up. Good. 2 more. Does it feel different? Kind of weird? Like imagine you have a towel underneath your knee and I'm trying to pull that towel out and you want to keep it down. Last one. And come back to center. Now we're going to extend that leg out, pushing it away. And that bottom knee can stay bent or it can extend out. It's up to you. We're going to flex the foot, let it hip hinge forward, point the toe, drag it back. Good. So as it drags back, imagine dragging it through mud. Good. Trying to keep the ribs integrated. So maybe you have to keep it kind of small in order to keep movement of the spine out of it. And then you can make it a little bit bigger each time. Last one. And then bring both of your feet together, slightly at an angle. Good. Close your ribs, rock back onto your greater trochanter, so you're not, or off of your greater trochanter, and then press both feet up a bit. Now, if they lift really high and you've just rocked back, bring them down, roll forward slightly. Hold that. Good. And then back down. Gorgeous. Press the feet away. Hey, Kyle, bring your feet back in space a little bit. Right there. Keep them, yeah. Instead of letting them come forward. Yeah, a little angle, but we're keeping them at a stable angle. Yeah. 2. Hold for 4. Hold for 3. Everybody feel that oblique? Hold for 2. Hold for 1. Let it lower, top arm comes overhead, get a little stretch. Now, I'm going to move my ball out of the way. We have options here. Option 1 is keeping the head down. You're going to bend the knees, reach towards your feet, and then extend them out. Okay. Option 1, yeah. Option 2 is doing the same thing, but on your forearm. Right? We're not sinking into it. We're reaching out. Yeah. Option 3 is using your abs, but keeping that fingertips sliding on the floor. And option 4 is both arms coming with you. Trying not to fall off the mat like I almost just did. 2, yeah. Last one. Gorgeous. Other side. You guys are doing great. You're welcome. All right, so find that side, lift your bottom ribs, unwind your hips. Keep those ribs nice and integrated. Lift the knee, hold. Now keep that bottom knee down, right? It's on a towel. I'm trying to pull the towel. You're gonna rotate your hips up and then back down. Good, hold. Maybe this side is pretty easy in comparison to your other side. Maybe it's less so. That's okay. It's just information, right? Good. Yeah. How's this side feel in comparison, you guys? You can give me a thumbs up, thumbs neutral, or something. Yeah, good. Good. You guys are like, can I give you all the thumbs up and down? Yeah. A couple more. You can always, always, always use that hand for support, using your core for support, even though we're not changing the shape of our spine, right? We're using our breath. Good. Last one like this. Good. And extend that leg out. Maybe this bottom leg stays bent. Maybe it extends up. And we flex that foot, hinge it forward, point, and drag it back. Now, once again, maybe it's kind of a small move because we're trying not to let the spine change shapes. It may have to rotate a little bit forward and back to balance. But if the hip dives forward and the low back changes shape, that's us accidentally getting our range of motion from our back instead of our hip. We're trying to get range of motion from the hip joint. Couple more. Good. 2 foot just forward and back. Just hinging that front foot. Hinge the front foot back. And then bring your feet together. Now, feet stay together, rock back just a little bit. And the feet aren't on a huge angle, it's just barely in front. Exhale, float and lift your legs from your abs and inner thigh. That's it. And back down. Now, once again, if you rock as you move or your feet come forward, all of a sudden we're using slightly different muscles. It's not the end of the world, but if you can, think of both sides of your obliques and that bottom inner thigh. Good, try to keep your angle steady, right? So if your angle is pretty forward, it's gonna stay forward. If it's pretty back, it's gonna stay back. It's not really shifting that much, right? 3, you're all amazing. 2, last 1, and we hold, hold, hold. Now we bring it down, we reach that top arm overhead, we get a little stretch, and then we find that connection, slide your feet in, and extend. Now maybe this is where you want to stay. In which case, fantastic. Maybe you want to come up onto that forearm. No problem. Right? Maybe you're like, ooh, I'm going to slide my hand in which case, great. Or maybe you want to use both arms. 3, 2 more. Last 1. Good. And come all the way down. We're going to roll onto our stomach. Yeah. No. Hands underneath your forehead for a second. Nod your chin. And just sway your hips a little from side to side. Now, keep your pubic bone heavier than your hip bones. All we're going to do on your exhale, lift your elbows only. And then back down. And then lift the elbows only. 2 more. Last one. Good. Now, take your hands to the side. Suction cup them to the ground. Shoulders roll out of the ears and down. Press your hands and elbows into the ground to get a little bit of lift. Just a little. It's more like you're being shot out of the cannon rather than lifting up high, okay? Find those glutes. Inhale. Exhale, float the arms up. Come back down. Good. Press. Now, if you're like, okay, I don't want to come up high, That's okay. We're trying to bypass our erectors and find a little bit of those multifidus and rotatories. So lengthen glutes. Good. Last one. Hold. Now maintaining this position if you can, lower the arms, then widen through your collarbones. Slowly lower. And then just widen your hands. Yep. Trying to maintain your body position. You're not lifting and lowering here. You're just letting your arms lift and lower. Yeah, just the arms. If it's too much to be up, come down. Good. If it's too much to be pretty much down, come all the way down. If that's still too much, come onto your knees. Right? We have two. Cal, draw your elbows and shoulders down out of your ears. Yeah. Good. Last one. Hold. Now, if your elbows are higher than your fingertips, rotate the fingertips in line. Slide the arms overhead. Slide them back down. Two more. Last one. Press yourselves into a rest position. Nice job. Now, we're going to bring ourselves onto all fours again. And we're going to get a little rotation. So one hand is going to slide under, passively rotate. Good. Press into the ground, find center, and then if it feels appropriate, actively rotate. And then passively, I'm going to show it a different angle for you guys. So passively rotate, and then find like a nice stable stance. And then if it feels good, find that active rotation through the thoracic. Yeah. Two more. Good. So instead of reaching for the sky, come here first. Yeah. And then instead of using the arm to get you there, just rotate your ribs. You might not go as far, but it won't put as much pressure up here. Yeah. 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 You can also just be here. Yeah. And then here, hold there. Bring your elbow down slightly, just the elbow towards the ground. There. Now, yeah, just rotate off the other arm. There. Yes. And then the other side. Did that feel a little bit better? Yeah. And then if it feels appropriate here, and if it feels appropriate, yeah. Elizabeth, that does not look bad, but do you feel how that shoulder's kind of coming? Yes, exactly. Yeah. Does that feel better? That looks gorgeous. I got really excited about that one. Good, Andrea. Yeah. Couple more. Or, yeah, think about the hand. You could even let the hand come to the shoulder. Yeah, here, try this. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that looked great. Last one. Nice. All right, hands and feet down. And if you can come through a downward dog, please do. If you walk your hands and feet together, roll all the way up. We're just going to end with a tiny bit of balance work. So go ahead, bring heel to toe. Yeah. Do you guys feel like you're on a catwalk? And then see how that feels. Just notice if your feet are trying to move. If they are, that's fine. Yeah. And then maybe try closing your eyes. Now, if that feels good, bring one arm overhead and then switch. And switch. Good. It's tricky, isn't it? Yeah. Two. Last one. And then we get to do the other side. All right. Heel to toe, see where you are. And maybe you close your eyes. Maybe you also bring an arm overhead. Just see what your body says. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. You all did fantastic. And I know we did some weird, different stuff, but hopefully felt really good in your body. Last one. Bring your feet together, flip your palms up, reach them behind you, lift your collarbones to the sky. Bring them down, slide your ears. Nope, shoulders to the ears, and then drop them straight down. Nice job. Give yourself a round of applause. Thank you so much for joining me. You guys are fantastic.